welcome to today's video. I hope that you enjoy this video and most importantly you learn from this video. Before we get into the lesson of today, make sure that you like this video, you share with your peers, your classmates, and anyone who is doing accounting or EMS. Okay, also please don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell down below. So let's get into today's lesson. We are going to discuss the trial balance format so that you can know what exactly is happening in the trial balance. What are all these accounts which are in the trial balance? How do we get it to balance at the end of the day? Okay. So the first thing that you need to know with regards to a trial balance is that it has two sections. We have first the balance sheet section, and then we have the nominal account section. So what are these sections? What goes into these sections? Let's look at this information above. So in the balance sheet section, you are going to record three things. All right. So you're going to first record your owner's equity accounts, which are capital and drawings. Okay. After you're done with recording the capital and your drawings, you're going to move on to your assets. All those types of accounts which are assets, you're going to list them. Okay, whichever ones are given to you in the information that you will be given to in any activity. Okay, and then after you are done listing all the assets that you have, you are going to do your liabilities. Okay, so in the nominal account section, what we record in this section is just incomes and expenses. Okay, so now let's get into the format of our trial balance. So the first thing before we even get into the trial balance, you are going to first start with the name of the business. It's important that your trial balance have the name of the business. Okay, so in this case, for this example, I said the name of the business is Peter's Manufacturing Shop. Please don't forget to put the name because it is important. So trial balance is at 31st of April 20.3. So in each activity, you will be given the date. Okay, so they will say prepare a trial balance as at or for the 31st of April 20.3, or the date will obviously not always be the same. Sometimes they will say prepare trial balance for 30th of March 20.2. So depending on what date they give you, this is where you put the date. Okay, so our trial balance has details. It has folio, it has debit, and then it has credit. So let's start first with our balance sheet section. So as I said, in your balance sheet section, you are going to record your owner's equity account, which are capital and drawings. After you are done with that, you are going to move on to your assets. So every asset account which is given to you in the activity, you put the asset here. You list all your assets. Okay, so in this case, we have equipment, land and buildings, vehicles, trading stock, bank, as well as cash float. So you might get other assets accounts such as cash float and the other ones. Make sure you put all of them here if they are given to you in an activity. Okay, after we list all the assets, we go to liabilities. So the liability we have in this example is loan. All right, so you are done with the balance sheet section. Well, we are done with listing the accounts in the balance sheet section. You move on to the nominal account section. So I said in the nominal account section, you enter or you record your incomes and expenses. please make sure that you always start with your sales and your cost of sale. Okay, so we have the sale, we have the cost of sale. Right after the cost of sale, please make sure that you list or you record all the income accounts that you have, as I have done here. So you're going to say rent income, current income, commission income, or any other income that is given to you in a specific activity. After you're done listing all your incomes, you move on to your expenses, as I have done here. So my expenses are salaries and wages, water and electricity, consumable stores, maintenance costs, advertising. Any other expense that is given to you, you list it here. Okay, I hope you are with me. So now you are done listing all the accounts which go into the balance sheet section, as well as in the nominal account section. So the next important part, which will make or break your trial balance, is on which side are you supposed to record the amount of each account. Okay, does the capital account go into the debit side, or does it go into the credit side? So do not worry, I got you. So the abbreviation that we are going to use is DebtClick. Please make sure that you know this abbreviation and you understand it. Please do not forget it, because it is going to help you when you're doing your trial balance, as well as when you are doing your general ledger. It is very important. So the abbreviation is DebtClick. All right. So let's first focus on the first part of the abbreviation, which is DED. All right. So DED stands for debit all expenses, assets, as well as drawings. So it just means that all these three accounts, you are going to debit them. You are going to take their amounts and you are going to put them on the debit side. Okay, so moving on to click, it stands for credit all liabilities, incomes, as well as capital, meaning that all these three accounts here, you are going to credit them. Does it make sense? I hope it does make sense. So now let us go and record the amount in our trial balance. So can we please first focus on the debt? So we are going to debit all the expenses, we are going to debit all the assets, and then we debit all the drawings. All right, so first we debit all the expenses. Our expenses are obviously in the nominal account section, because you know, as per this information I have given you at the top here, that our expenses are in the nominal account section. So you are going to look for your expenses and you take the amount of your expenses and you put them on the debit side. Okay, so I do not have amounts here, as we are focusing on the format only. So I am just going to put X as the amount. So the first expense that we have in our nominal account section is cost of sale. So cost of sale will be debited, and then we move on to our other expenses, which are salaries, the amount you will debit. So water and electricity, you debit it. Maintenance costs, you also debit. Advertising, you also debit. So whichever amount of these expenses, you are going to put on the debit side. Okay, and then using our abbreviation again, we are going to look for assets. All right, and you are going to debit your assets as well. So the amount of your asset accounts, you are going to put them on the debit side. So let us look for our assets. Our assets are equipment, equipment, land and buildings, vehicles, trading stock, bank, as well as cash float. So all these accounts, you are going to debit them. You put their amount on the debit side. Do not worry if we do not have the amount, because if you follow this format, there is no way that your trial balance will not balance. Trust me on that. So we are done with our assets. We also put them on the debit side. So the last thing that we have to put on the debit side is drawings. So you take your amount for drawings and you put it on the debit side. Okay, so we are done with the dead. We are done with this part of the abbreviation. Okay, so we are moving on to click, meaning that all these three accounts, we are going to put their amount on the credit side. So we start first with liabilities. What liability accounts do we have here? We have loan, right? So meaning that our loan amount will be credited. It goes to the credit side. We are done with liabilities because loan is the only liability we have in our trial balance. So next up, we go to our incomes and we put their amount on the credit side. Okay, so sales will be on the credit side because it's an income. Rent income on the credit side, current income on the credit side, as well as commission income. They will go on the credit side. So we are done with our incomes. We move on to the last account which we have to credit, which is capital. So we go and look for capital and we credit the capital account. Okay, so imagine that these x's are your amounts. You are done putting your amounts where they belong. There is no way that this trial balance of yours will not balance. So after you have put the amount where they belong, you are going to first start with the debit side. You take all these amounts on the debit side, you add them together, and then you put your total. Okay, and on the credit side as well, you take all the amounts on your credit side and you add them together, and they will give you a total for the credit side. So both these amounts, this one on the total of the debit side, as well as the total on the credit side, will be the same amount. So let's say, for example, your debit side, the total is 500,000. When you add up the credit side as well, it will give you the same amount. It will give you the same amount of 500,000. Okay, so that is all about the trial balance and its format. This is the basic, this is the foundation of your trial balance. If you get just these basics, you will never get your trial balance wrong. So please go and practice it. I'm sure your trial balance will start to balance from now on. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. In my next video, I am going to do a trial balance activity where we are given amounts so that we can use the basics that we have learned in this video and see if our trial balance will indeed balance. So please watch out for that next video so that we do it together and you can see that indeed these are the basics that you need to know for your trial balance to balance. See you in my next one. Don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Thank you. Bye.